Okay. Well, I am just about to get started here and checking to make sure our live stream is working here. There. Welcome anyone who is tuning in right now. We are just about to get started with our World Card Making Day class number, or not World Card Making Day, World Card Making Week class number 1. And if you are here and can hear me, can you give me a little thumbs up and I can know that our audio is working properly and that we're ready to roll here. I can see I've got several people have joined the stream. Oh, good. Hi, Linda, Beverly. Welcome, ladies. Good to have you with us. Hey, that's a good sign. I think that means, when I see the thumbs up coming through now, wonderful. Good. I think that means we're ready to roll. Well, hello, everyone. For those of you just hopping onto the stream, welcome. This is Ginger Williams. Let me give you my wave. I don't have a camera on my face today, but camera over my workspace. I am here with Queen & Company's World Card Making Week class number 1. In this class, we're going to be learning some fun card making techniques using our brand new foundation set 25 dies. That's these in this tray here, as well as going through all the tips and tricks and cool things about our brand new shaker card pouches. So let me double check my stream again. I just want to make sure everything is going proper. Oh, good. Look, I see highs from all of you. Wonderful. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi, Tiffany, Sue, Tammy, June, Carol, Deborah. Oh, a whole bunch. Bobby. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining today. Okay, it looks like we are rolling perfect the way I had hoped. Let me set a few things aside while we get started. Couple of things. Housekeeping things. It is World Card Making Week. We did not limit celebration to just one day or even one weekend this time. We have a whole week of fun things happening. And you probably already know that since you're here in our first class. But I want to make sure that I cross off all of our to-do lists. And the first is that we, of course, do have new products for sale, and that Wendy is running an incredible special in her free with purchase items. I don't know how she pulls it off sometimes with the things she offers. We've got some full kits here, including the shaped card Christmas wreath and the shaped card smile kits. She's got a paper bundle. If you're ready to knock out a whole bunch of Halloween cards, you can get 3 of our best-selling Halloween paper pads. And if you prefer your ready-made, easy to grab and go kits, our summer class kit is available as well. Free with purchase if you spend $100, and that means no rewards, no coupons, no other discounts. But if you want to take home an extra kit or extra set of paper pads, then this is a great option for you if you are shopping with us this weekend. Okay, one other housekeeping item is our schedule for the week. And if you look at the list, you can see we're already on Saturday the 28th. Last night I did a video kicking off our event and went through all of what we're doing this week, as well as introducing all of our products. Today I'm going to get in depth mostly with just our new shaker pouches and Foundation 25, but we have 2 other live classes coming up later in the week. On Tuesday night, if you'll join me, these times are all Pacific times. So if you are in a different time zone, you're going to want to adjust. But Pacific time zones is what you're seeing listed here. But Tuesday night, I'll be back with you again. We're going to take a brand new die cutting guide that is a little different than past ones that I have done. This one, we're going to try to make some simple cards. So things that don't take too many layers that you can knock out real fast and easy. That is what is going to be happening. Tuesday night, I'm going to go through and show you how to put together that simple die guide, as well as how to use it with our new Costume Cuties Halloween kit. Thursday night, Marianne is live with her class showing you how to mix these new foundation dies in with our Costume Cuties and making some cards. Today I'm going to be focusing on using these new foundations with our shaker pouches. So 2 different things we're going to be doing with Foundation 25. And then of course we have a week-long card making contest. I hope that you'll participate. We just posted the details of that last night, and you can find that in our Royalty Facebook group. We have some fun giveaways. We have some fun things that we're giving you, like our new sketches and our new foundation guide coming out next week. We have a fun surprise announcement on Friday that I can't wait to tell you, but that is going to have to wait till Friday. It is a surprise. And we also have our little fun, what are they? They're door prizes that we're doing this coming week. And you'll see those posted on Monday as well, including our grand prize, which we're doing a little different this year. Grand prizes and our like $50 gift cards that we do as door prizes. We've got some new, fun, and unique ways to earn them. And I gave some hints last night. Well, I guess I'll repeat a little bit about that. We are looking for our, what would you call it? Queen of the crop, as well as our compliment queen, or how would you say that? Queen of the compliments? Here we go. If you see all of the wonderful inspiration that is posted in our Facebook group this coming week, we would love to have you leave lots and lots of love, lots of compliments and praise on all of that is going on this week. And that will help you be eligible to win some of our door prizes. And again, Monday, all of that will get posted and you'll have a chance to enter and see the details. And then you'll have all week, all the way till Saturday night, to have a chance to play with all of that. But let's talk a little bit today about a class. This is a card making class. I'm going to show you exactly how to put together 3 fun Christmas cards. You can see my little containers here. I've got my supplies for my 3 cards ready to roll, and how to integrate our new pouches into your card making. Christmas just seemed like a fun theme to do with these new pouches, as well as the holiday that is coming up way too fast, at least too fast for me. And so we're going to go through step by step, and I'll show you exactly how you can make these cards. And then when your pouches arrive, you can feel free to come back to this video and follow along with me if you like. For reference, I am using the paper pad from Santa's Workshop from last year's release. And then I'm using a few shapes from Jolly Jingles, like this Christmas tree. And then, of course, Foundations 25 and our shaker pouches. Those are the main items. Oh, and also, you may want to look for these in our Facebook group, or sorry, on our website. On our website. I'm also going to be heavily using our glitter sequence, and I believe this set of Christmas colors is available on the website. And if you were lucky enough this summer at our Christmas in July event and picked up our ornament topping set, quite a few of the toppings in this set, there's a better way to see them, are those glitter sequins in there. So if you have this set, then you also have a lot of the fun glitter sequins that I'm going to be using today in my samples as we create. Okay. I also am trying to field questions. I have my iPad close by and I'm trying to catch comments. You guys are being chatty and I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll try to catch as many comments as I can. But first and foremost, we're going to make cards today. So I hope that's what you're doing, and I hope that you're posting them in our Facebook group and entering our contest and all of its challenges. And I'll regroup. I'll go over all of the challenges involved at the end in case you're interested, but the details are posted there. But let me first talk about the new foundation dies and how they're companions to our shaker pouches. If you were on my live last night, you already heard this, so sorry, I'm going to repeat it just a little bit. But in our new foundation dies, we've got all kinds of fun things happening, including some fun little border options that I showed last night. These are meant to layer together with some of our other dies in this set to kind of give you some fun scalloped edges peeking out behind other papers, and that gives a fun and cute look. Let me show you what it looks like when you layer them. When layered together, it's just kind of a fun way to emphasize that little scallop along the bottom. Something new and fun there. But then, of course, we have in these larger dies, in our diamond and our square and our large rectangle and our circle, what we have here are pouches that match those sizes, including also a full A2. So this rectangle is not full A2. We already had that die in our Foundation 8 set, so we didn't replicate it. But these sizes are all new. They are all different than previous foundation dies, and they correlate with the sizes of the shaker pouches. And in each package, if I can get them out, you will have all 5 sizes. There's the diamond that matches our diamond die. You've got the circle there. You get 3 of each. You can see I've already pulled some out, so I'm not going to show you 3 of each, but there are 3 of each. There's our square. And then, oh, there's a square there. And then there are 3, 2, and 3 of the smaller rectangle. And I only have one smaller one left because I've been using a bunch of them. But the smaller rectangle, and then the full A2, full shaker. And these pouches is just a fun new way to create shaker cards, especially handy if you are trying to eliminate some bulk. Let me show you. You know, in our traditional shaker cards, we have foam that you fill, and that is a fun and easy and fast way to make a shaker card, but it does introduce some bulk. Now, confession time, I really struggle with not having lots of dimension and texture. It's just one of my things I'm passionate about, that I love. So you can see on this card especially, did I cut my title out of some glitter foam? Do I have some bling on here that does make it a little more dimensional? Let's see if you can see how much dimension. It's still not a lot, but there is some there. So this is not as flat as it could be. So I probably still wouldn't just put this in an envelope and just mail it. But what we're going to make today is going to be flat. We're going to go real flat to make it easier to mail. So especially if you like to mail shaker cards, but the bulk kind of makes you pause, this is going to help eliminate a lot of bulk. Not all of it, because, you know, you do need to be able to shake your card around. These pouches, you can kind of hear, probably can't quite hear because my mic sensitivity is probably not up high enough, but I can kind of squeeze the air out of it and flatten them out a little bit. When I let go, they kind of puff up just a little bit, which is great because it makes it so that they can shake around. But it also means when you put it in an envelope and, you know, seal it up, it's going to stay even flatter. And then when you open it, they kind of pop up just a little bit. But anyways, great for mailing. If you love shaker cards, wish they were easier to mail, then these pouches can help you with that. So enough room to shake around flat things, and all of my toppings in here are all very flat. I've chosen sequence. You can put other types of shaker items in these, but really you're going to want to keep them on the flatter side if you really want them to be able to move, and if you want to reduce that bulk for mailing. You could, you know, I'll show you some samples later where our designers did put other things in, and that's an option. But if you want to mail, definitely want to keep them flat, and we're going to be all about flat today. So 5 shapes, 3 of each in the pouches, so 15 pouches total in each of the packages. And again, they correlate with 4 of the dies in set 25 and the A2 die in set 8. Or of course, you can always cut your own A2 background. If you don't own set 8, that is not a problem. Cut your own A2 size card base, as you probably already are quite familiar with, and you can just slip your pouch around that as well. Okay, let me set aside Foundation 25. Actually, well, before I do that, I do want to point out that just like all of our other sets, Foundation 25 does come with its own set of sketches. This is just some of the many ideas of how you can use this set with or without the pouches. You can see here, you could make that a pouch and a shaker, or you could just use that as a home base to put one of our traditional shakers on. Last night, someone asked in a question, are we getting rid of our other ways of making shakers? And the answer is absolutely not. We love, love, love our traditional, easy, you know, double-sided adhesive, pop an already pre-cut shape, ready to roll shaker, and those are going absolutely nowhere. We love them, and they will keep coming. And let's see. Any other questions from last night? I can't remember. But again, 25 mixes and matches with all of our other foundation sets, just as the others. The only thing a little different about this set is that they do match up with the pouches. Okay, let's make some cards. Let me move this aside. So, as with all things, there are some tips and tricks that can make creating with, let me zoom in first, that can make creating with products a little easier, and I'm going to talk about some of those. The pouches are different than our foam, and there's a couple things you do need to know right from the get-go. And the first is that in order to protect them, to keep them from getting scratched in transit, there is a small liner, oops, let me go on the other side, that you want to remove. And the best way for me to do it is just to get something with a little point on it and just, you know, start kind of scratching one side until you can get the liner to lift. You're going to want to remove that liner. So first thing you do absolutely have to know, remove that liner. The other thing you're going to want to know is that there are kind of 2 sides to this. You can kind of feel it with your finger. See if I can bring it up there. One side is like an indentation, and the other side of the score line is like a little bit tiny bit raised. And you can feel it with your finger when you go over it. In order to fold these as flat as possible, you're going to want to find the side with the indentation, and you're going to want to fold your shaker pouches in towards that indentation. And that will help them lie just a little bit flatter. And just like with folding paper, you're going to want to also grab like a bone folder or some other type of edge. And I'm going to leave that one open because we're going to need that open for a minute. And you're going to want to take something and you're going to want to crease those edges. Now, I'm not going to do it quite yet because we're not quite ready to get to that step, but keep that in mind. Those will help you get this as flat as possible. Also, when you pull that liner off, you're definitely going to get some static. And taming static is just one part of making shaker cards. And for this, I have found that the very best way is just keep a dryer sheet handy. It works real well. Take a dryer sheet. You're going to want to just rub it on the inside of your pouch. And then also, I found it was helpful to take the background, whatever you're going to put inside of your pouch. You can see I've cut this lovely piece of pattern paper from our Santa's Workshop paper pad, and I'm going to give it just a little brush too. Now, with our glitter sequence that we're going to add in here, I haven't found it to really be too big of a problem with static, but if you go into anything that is a little bit more of a glitter or anything like that, anything small, you're going to want to keep in mind that static could be an issue. So here you can see how well that will just kind of slide in there and fit inside the pouches. There's just a teeny tiny bit of give on the edges that helps your shaker pieces move around a little bit. You can see that they line up real well. Also, another tip, I didn't use Foundation 8 to cut this background. I used one of our backdrop dies. Well, I said that right, backdrop dies. You can kind of see the stitching and embossing on there. Adds a nice little extra touch of texture without much bulk, without really any bulk. The other thing I want to share as a tip is also, you can see I have cut a plain A2 because our patterned paper isn't very thick. I find that a thicker background does help these pouches to be more stable. And so I did cut an extra background piece. I'm going to glue right now. Wendy says she loves this paper. Yep, this was a popular one last year in this paper pad. I think someone even requested an entire paper pad of just this particular pattern. It's a pretty one, and it makes a great backdrop to a lot of things, not just a pouch shaker card. But for extra stability, I am going to glue it right onto this extra piece of cardstock, the background. It looks like I lined it up pretty good. But that'll just help that pouch be, like I said, extra stable as we make it the main foundation of our card. Okay. So next, like I said, I left this one side open, and now I'm going to slide that background piece inside my pouch. And now I'm going to glue shut on 3 sides pouch. I find liquid glue works best. We've tried and tested this with like red liner tape or tape runner. This plastic is on the thicker side. It is nice. It's not going to tear on you. I used some like transparency cover one time to try this technique with before we developed all this, and it tore, and I ended up with glitter and sequins everywhere. So these are nice. They're going to be enough weight to keep you from losing all your pieces and having tears, but they also are a little on the springy side, and you want them to stay closed. I'm using Art Glitter Glue. I love this stuff. It holds real well. It holds the paper right onto your pouches and doesn't let go after it dries. And if you use something that, especially if heat affects it, like I said, red liner tape or tape runner, you may find that, got my little fridge here that I keep my glue bottle upside down in. You may find that it will spring open on you over time, and you definitely don't want that. So here is my tip for this. One, also, you don't want to get your glue too close to your stitch lines because those stitch lines are actually holes, right? Let me bring this up where you can see better. You don't want it to go in the holes because you don't want glue to seep through to your other side, right? Okay, now you can sit here and just hold this and wait till it dries, but that takes forever. So I recommend that you keep something handy close by, a heavy object. I've chosen one of my textbooks from college. And you're just going to want to put something heavy on it until it has a chance to dry. Now, that takes for me about 5 minutes, and since we're live and you guys don't want to wait forever, I actually went and did this ahead of time So here is one that is already done, and you can see I poured my sequence in there, and I'll talk to you about adding that in a second. But I wanted you to see how well and how flat things do dry if you put something heavy on it. So heavy object, like my floral design book. In college, I did study some floral design. My major was actually child development, but I took lots of floral design classes. Never became a florist, but the principles of floral design include all kinds of things on color and texture and all that. See how it's not dry and so it's not closed yet? You're going to want to leave something heavy on there for a while. But once you do get it dry, now you're ready to add your shaker toppings. Now, I've already put together a little mix here. You see how pretty that glitter sequence is? I've got some in just kind of a white iridescent as well as the red. And then this is just chunky glitter from my stash. And it's nice because it's kind of a heavyweight. I probably bought it at a craft store ages ago. Who knows how long I've had it. But it just added a little extra something in there, a little different shape that I mixed in there. But I love how that glitter sequence just adds so much sparkle and pizzazz. And now, even though this isn't glued all the way, I just want to show you, pretend it is, because for the sake of time, I'm not going to make you wait 5 minutes for it to dry here. But here's the pouch. Oh, here's another tip. Now, this is not particularly staticky, but if it was, or if I was maybe in the Mountain West where it's really dry, one thing you can do is take your dryer sheet, put it in a bag, dump your topping in, and then close it up so they don't shake sequins and glitter all over, and let it kind of roll around in there with your dryer sheet. That is a great way, particularly if you're using something smaller than this. Like I said, these are not particularly staticky, but if you have static in your weather, you know, you've got that dry weather, or if you are using something smaller, like if you're braver than me, decide to go and get some glitter and put that in here, this will probably help a lot with getting your topping pieces to actually roll around, shake around, and not just static cling to your shaker pouch. But so probably not necessary for this particular set, but I wanted to show you how much, or how that little tip on what you could do, depending on what toppings you want to put in. Now, again, this isn't, hopefully it won't explode on me because it's not shut all the way, but I want to show you what they look like as you dump them in. Because the last step, of course, is going to be, not pretty, good with that paper too, is going to be to fold that final remaining fourth side and add your glue. And I'm going to do that now. And then I'll put this underneath my heavy book, and I can make a bonus, a double card later on after this class is over. So I'm going to hold that shut, go over here, and I'm going to take my floral design book that is finally giving me extra use, and we'll weigh that down while it dries. Okay, and here is the one I did earlier. Isn't that pretty? Love how well that looks. I love how well things shake around. But also look, like I told you, if you put it in an envelope to mail it, look at that. It's going to compress nice and flat. You can see how much they can't move around. But yet when you let go and let it pop up just a bit, cool, huh? Love it. So pretty. So this is a full A2 size. This is the large shaker pouch. You can see that it gives you that fun infinity look to your shaker pieces as they get a chance to roll edge to edge, which is fun and something we can't do with foam. Okay, we'll save that for the end. So I do have a card base to glue this to. And then from the Jolly Jingle set, I have already pre-cut a Christmas tree in a few shapes. This one I believe is set 20, oh, I can't remember, it's been too long. I think it's 21. I think this is particular banner pieces from set 21, when there is the trunk to our tree. And then also using the brand new Christmas clothesline set. I love the Christmas sentiments in this one. So I've already pre-cut and stamped those 3 sentiments. We're going to use all 3 of them. And I've already pre-cut out their background pieces. So if you love those large sentiments, they look great on these shaker pouches. Because really with the shaker pouches, you're having shaker items shake behind your decorations. And so these are fun to have. That's why we put them in the endless kits too, right? They look great with endless as well. So that's what I'm using. Let's go ahead and glue those together. My glue bottle again. Right, so Merry Christmas. Something easy and traditional. My thinking with this particular class was to give you 3 easy to put together and customize cards. You could use any fun little Christmas die cuts that you own. You can use any Christmas paper pad, and you can replicate the ideas here real easy. And we're keeping them flat and kind of simple. It's killing me not to bling these out, but for the purpose of what we're doing today, we're going to keep them flat and simple. Oh, and also I forgot, this banner piece here is from set 2, I believe, right? And they're just kind of creating a little bit of a home base for us to put these little embellishments on. And really the star of the show with these is the little shaker pouches, right? Bit of glue here to keep these together. And my background piece. And I cut my top layer out of you know how our solid paper pads typically have a darker side and a lighter side to them? Well, look how fun that looks by cutting out the tree out of that lighter color and then the dark green for the top layer. Kind of fun, pretty look there. Some dimension without dimension, right? Let's go ahead and add our tree trunk. Put a little glue on the top of that piece. Glue that together. Go. Our tree ready to go. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this red background piece and glue it towards the bottom of our card. Not all the way at the bottom though, because I want our shaker pieces to show at the bottom. I want you to be able to tell that this is an infinity type of shaker. Go with right about there. Again, I love using this art glitter glue because it does stick really well to even non-porous items like our shaker pouches. You probably would have better luck with a tape runner or red line tape or something like that on the top of these, but I still love my liquid glue. All right, looks good. Next up, let's get our little striped banner piece. It's going to kind of create a little home that we're going to put our sentiment on. Okay, right across the bottom of our banner, our larger banner. I'm hoping to show you that you can really create a fun, you know, confetti in an envelope type of card, quick and easy with these pouches. Okay, now the Christmas tree. By just adding a few simple die cuts and a die cut sentiment, you can knock out a whole bunch of fun Christmas cards with these pouches pretty quick. Up just a little bit here. Let the tree trunk come down just a bit. Tree is on. I love this tree in Jolly Jingles. It's such a cute one. And normally I'd be using foam tape and other, you know, dimensional adhesives to pop up some of the sentiments and things. But we're focusing on mailing today, so nice and flat. But normally I'd put some foam tape in between those layers. I love how that looks, but it'll look really cute this way even without it today. Okay. There we go. Merry Christmas. Right up. Now, you can see when they take it out of the envelope, they'll get that fun party in a card with all of your shaker confetti rolling around edge to edge. Isn't that pretty? So there you go. That is the main concept behind our shaker pouches. And again, this is a much flatter card. Let me show you how much dimension I usually have. Here, we'll compare with one of these Costume Cutie cards. So I'm going to turn this to the side. You can see that, especially when in an envelope, this is going to be a nice flat card. At least fairly flat, I mean. And then here you can see how much more bulk I usually have if I'm popping things up with foam dots and adding bling. And then, of course, our traditional foam for our shakers. Not quite focusing too well on that, but you get the idea. A lot more dimension on that than there is with this. So just one other fun option for creating a shaker card. You can also see too, not too bad with the static, right? Not too bad. They're rolling around in there quite well. And part of the fun of these shaker pouches is that they cling a little bit to the edges. You want it to show up all over. So card number 1. Okay. Oh, except for one more critical part. Let's glue it to a card base. That way you can actually really put it in the mail. Get our glue towards the edges and on the back. You can see how well, with a heavy object on it, it dried real well and it's sealed real well. Corner to corner, can you see how well the corners line up? So you can actually be sure that we're not having any escaping particles here. All that sequence is going to stay in very nicely once you get everything good and dry. There we go. Card base. Okay. And I did fail to mention earlier, you can buy these pouches separate or bundled with Foundation 25. If you pick up Foundation 25, they come together, but you can also pick up extras if you want. I particularly love the A2. Just the ability to quickly and easily make that entire card a shaker and make it your backdrop. It's just fun. Now, the embellisher in me might even take some of this red sequence or maybe some of the silver, and we may have to deck out the Christmas tree later. We'll have to see. It's killing me not to have bling, but we'll survive. Okay. Card number 2. Here again, from Jolly Jingles, I've die cut already out our little snowman. And this, I believe, is from set 11, this little banner. We're going to kind of, you'll see the same kind of concept. We're going to anchor our die cuts on top of a pouch shaker is the idea here. And I've got a few pieces. This is from the new 25. It's that nice little tiny border piece that goes all the way across an A2 on the short side. And let's pull out my little snowman pieces here. I already glued his eyes and carrot nose on because I was afraid I would lose them. They're just so small, so they're already glued down. But his hat and pieces are there. And a little snowflake for his hat. And then, like I showed you before, I've already got the sentiment stamped and die cut from our Christmas clothesline Endless kit. Let's see here. This is going to be our background piece. Love how this paper from Santa's Workshop kind of looks like snowfall already, and since we're doing a snowman, it just seemed to be the right fit. And again, here's our pouch. This is the the smaller of the 2 rectangles. So this one is not quite full A2, which is why I have cut out this striped paper. Once we fold this up, you'll be able to see, actually, let me do it with something not clear. You'll be able to see that the shaker pouch will be that size, and that the idea behind this rectangle is if you do want just a little fun edge of maybe a pop of color, or in this case, a pop of pattern paper, you can see that that will show behind your shaker pouch. So you get the 2 sizes, edge to edge with the A2, or the chance to do a minor customization with this one. Okay, so as I showed you before, we're gonna remove, oh, I lost my poker, there it is. My stylus, I love this stylus. We're gonna remove the liner that is on the inside part of our shaker. Let me see if I can catch it. I always just start kind of scraping one side or the other. Like I always pick the wrong side to start with, but you'll be able to see it once you start kind of poking at it. Come loose. If you're on the wrong side, nothing will come up. So just flip it over and do the other side. All right, good. Liner off. And I'm going to feel for my ditch, which I can tell this is the ditch side and this is the raised side. Here I can even kind of hear it clicking. Not sure if the mic is picking that up, but my fingernail makes it click when you're on the raised side. You can feel it much smoother and a little indentation on the indentation side. So I know to fold it this way. Now, if you fold it the wrong way, I'm going to give this a wipe before I fold it. It'll be easier to wipe with my dryer sheet before folding. If you fold it the other way, it absolutely will still work. It's just a little easier to keep it flat for gluing. Fold it this way. Several of the samples I made in the beginning, before I figured this out, I folded it the other way and they still worked just fine. Right, so leave one side open. Okay, and now, like I showed you before, our pattern papers are great, but they're not a thick weight. They're flimsy. So in order to add stability, we're going to glue an additional backer on. Again, this is cut with Foundation 25. And it's going to line up perfect with the pattern paper I cut from Foundation 25. And we'll line that up and glue those together real quick. And this is ready to slide inside of our pocket pouch. And now we're ready to start gluing, like I showed you earlier, around the edges. And then filling on this side our shaker items. Let me show you what I picked out for this card. Now again, we're going with like a snowfall, right? So I've got the iridescent and the silver glitter confetti from that Christmas mix that I showed you earlier. This one. So the silver and the white or clear iridescent glitter. And then again, just some more of those fun little uh, chunky glitter pieces from my stash. And that's going to make it a really fun and pretty snowfall behind our snowman here. Now, I'm not going to glue this one because I already showed you how to do that, but add your liquid glue underneath and put something heavy on it to dry. And since you don't want to wait for it to dry, it only takes about 5 minutes, but here is one I've already done and you don't have to wait for. You can see I took my sequence and I did pour it into a baggie with my dryer sheet. Where'd my baggie go? Like this. And I did shake it all around already, so it should be already static cling. The electricity should be letting go of that, and you can see how well that is all going to shake around here on this card. And maybe I'll even bring this over. Now it's not quite dry yet, but you can see now this one is glued down, the one that we did earlier, and it's ready now to be added to a card. One side isn't quite dry yet. It popped up on me, but I'll put the book back on it and give it another couple minutes. Can't rush these things, apparently. But something heavy makes it work. Okay. That back down. Okay. So now let's build this card, okay? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this shaker pouch and we're going to glue it right onto the front of our A2 background so that we can see that fun, sorry, I'm off camera. We can see that fun striped paper all around. So let's go ahead and do that. Glue on the middle and on the edges, but not too close to the edge. I don't want it to clean out on me. Because it is plastic, it's not going to absorb the glue the way the paper will. You really don't want to get too close to the edge because you risk of having it seep out is a little higher than with paper to paper. Let's get that centered. Good. Okay. Hold it just for a second to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to. Let's build on our shaker. Okay. So first, let's complete our snowman. Pretty cute, isn't he? I love him. He's even cute, even if you didn't add his little frame. Like, this is for if you're building one of our popped-up shakers, but again, I'm just a sucker for the texture and dimension, so we're going to glue his little outline on him, just like we did with our Christmas tree. The other card. Glued together. I love how, you don't have to have this top piece, but I love how it adds the texture and the stitch marks. Extra glue right there. But the extra texture and dimension, I think it just makes it even more cute. So. And let's glue his hat on. It just kind of perches sideways. And of course, if you put your snowman on this side, you could have aimed his nose that way and perched his hat that way and have him looking the other direction. One of the things I like about our snowman is that he's easy to customize that way. This time I've got him facing to the right. My right. Cute. Okay. And let's see. So first up is going to be that piece from Foundations 11. Get it glued down. Here, let me move my glue so I can stop reaching across your screen. I need to get my bottle of glue. We'll take that banner piece. A little better. We'll take that banner piece and we'll add it right along the bottom of our card. Again, just kind of creating that home base, the place for our die cut to live. And again, not all the way at the bottom so that we're not covering up, able to see where our extra shaker toppings are going to be viewable from. Okay. And this little accent piece, again from 25, you can see kind of the same concept as our first card. Little hints of color popping out. Anchor, sentiment, and accent. Are you an eyeballer when you craft like me, or do you guys actually like measure or answer that in the comments? I am an eyeballer, I'm sure you can tell. But that also means I'm also a take it off and replace it and do it when I don't take the time to get it right. Another reason why I like liquid glue. You get a second or two to reposition a tiny bit, right? Whew, I almost got that green one on crooked. So glad that it gives you a second or two. Okay. So let's finish our snowman. I still have his scarf to put on, and I have picked out a little snowflake dye to add as an accent on his hat. So let's finish him up. Looks so cute, all wrapped up in his sweater. Scarf, I guess it's a scarf, not a sweater. Okay, and he's gonna live there on the left side of that card. Here we go. Down. Tilted just enough, not look like he's fallen over, but just enough to kind of add some interest there. Move this away. I'm almost knocking this over. It's right next to my right hand. I don't want that to happen on camera. We always have so much fun on lives of special, fun, extra things that we didn't plan to have happen. I don't want that today. At least not with glitter and sequins all over the place. That would be so fun to clean up. Okay. Let's get our sentiment glued together. Oh, I forgot his snowflake. Well, we'll get his snowflake in just a second. First, the sentiment. Love how they pop when you have that background piece that our endless sentiments have. A fun way to add a sentiment and make it really be one of the showpieces of a card. And again, we're keeping things nice and flat. No extra popping up with foam tape or anything like that. Okay. Right there, living right on top of our small striped green piece. Okay, and then the snowflake I forgot to add to his hat. A little dot of liquid glue should take care of that. We'll stick that on his hat. Then let me know what you think. The glue to my finger and not the card. All right, come here. So I can see you better. Standing up and reaching down to my desk. Sometimes that makes it hard to get accurate. Okay, there we go. What do you think? Isn't he cute? Look how well everything shakes. Oh, and again, I keep forgetting card base right here, even though it's right in front of my face. My dishes aside. Let's glue our card onto its card base, and then it will be finished. Lots of liquid glue. Hold that thing on there real good. Okay. Card onto card base, and then this card would be ready to send in the mail. You probably can't hear it because I think my microphone mutes quiet sounds, but when I push down on it, you can kind of hear the air whooshing out of it a little bit. You can feel how flat it is, when you're holding it like that. So again, nice flattish card, a lot less bulk, still a fun and pretty shaker card. Isn't that great? Sorry, I know my lights are kind of glaring a little bit, but see how fun that turned out. And isn't that cute? Doesn't it look like snow? So if you're in the mood for snowflakes, this is a fun way to create that look. And again, party in a card, right? Sequence going everywhere but on you and on your recipient. So there we go. That's 2 cards. Now let's do a third. So you can see this one here, our full A2 card that we did earlier, and our now smaller rectangle card, or rectangle pouch on a A2 card. And now let's play with one of the smaller shapes in the pouches. This is the small diamond or rhombus shape. We're going to play with that one. And when you're using the smaller shapes, they're fun because they give you a few more design options. So I am actually going to take the sketches from Foundation 25, which work beautifully with or without pouches. We're going to take this one. I just really like this one. It's a great way to really feature a set of pattern papers, and I just love the Santa's Workshop paper pad. Probably my favorite of our Christmas pads. probably, but there's some great patterns in there. And this particular sketch will help us to feature them, yet also give us a place for a small shaker that can go behind our, what you call it, behind our focal points, our sentiment and stuff. And for this one, I have just chosen to keep it real simple. This is not a large shaker. You don't want to use a large die cut to cover things up. You want to see our sequence bouncing around in our pouch. So I kept it real simple. I just went to the Holiday Foundation dies, and I die cut from some silver glitter paper a couple of snowflakes. So that and one of the smaller sentiments from the Christmas clothesline kit is going to be our main focal point. Well, or maybe not. The focal point is going to be the shaker, right? But these are going to sit on top of it and not cover it up too much. So you can see I've already got my papers kind of lined out here. Let me get my small pieces out here so I can remember how I want them. And grab my fryer sheet so it's handy again. And my little bag of that I use for shakers. I've got a few strays in there I need to take out. And let's see. Oh, I seen your comments. Angela, thank you. You love that sketch. Isn't it a great sketch? Like, it can be used in so many fun ways for almost any particular theme. Any particular paper pad should work with that. You can feature the paper and yet still have your shaker. You can have your cake and eat it too, right? Beverly says, I love the sample of the diamond pocket card you showed last night for Thankful. Oh yeah, that one did turn out well. I really particularly liked featuring, this is the Woodland paper pad, the Woodland Critters paper pad that we did. What do we call that? Woodland Wonder, I think. Yeah, you can feature the papers and have your shaker and still have a place for your sentiment and a little accent. Fun. So we're going to do something similar tonight. Or today. Not yet. Okay. Any other questions I should catch before we assemble here? Will the circle pouch work with the snow globe size-wise? I haven't tested that. We didn't design it that way, so I'm not entirely sure if it will or not. But you could try it, especially since you could just use the base. In fact, I've got it right here. Should we answer her question right here? Let's take a look, since I happen to have the dies here for the brand new shaped shaker card snow globe or crystal ball. It's a crystal ball, right? So here are the dies for that. If you wanted to, let me grab the dies from Foundation. Well, here, I've got it cut. It would be a bit big, but you could make it work. So this is 25. This is the same size as the shaker pouches. And this is the base die for the crystal ball. So it would be a bit big, or the base would be a bit big, but you could totally make it work. So if you're wondering, and it would be smaller, like you can see how much bigger it would be if you use the actual dies from the kit and do your shaker that way. But if you want a little smaller one, sure, you could absolutely make that work. So I missed the name of that question, but hopefully that answered it. Could you make it work? Yes. Not only that, but you could also use some of the dies in other sets that are similar. I showed this last night on comparing the sizes of our dies. If you take your shaker and layer it on one of the others, including, I love how this new 25 looks layered on 20. That could be kind of a fun mystical way to make your crystal ball die or snow globe dies work. So great question. I hadn't thought of using it that way. Let me set those aside so I don't lose anything. My desk is always filled with a bazillion things, and I try really, really hard never to lose anything because oftentimes there are prototypes that I have, things that we need to test and make sure that we're getting ready for all of you to check out, and losing that would be bad because it might be the only one we have until the, until the actual products come in. You know, we test prototypes, make sure that they work, and then we order. And occasionally that can get hairy since we don't have a lot of prototypes to test. If anything were to get lost, that can cause problems. Okay, so I'm going to kind of line this up on my grid background. I have a mat here with a grid, and this is particularly helpful with this card since you'll get a chance to kind of see where our center line is. And that helps me to line up, getting things straight on here. So pardon me while I kind of indulge that background. Let me zoom in too so you can see me better. Put this card together. There we go. Okay, so Just some color blocking, basically, by using some of this tone-on-tone patterns in this kit, or in this paper pad. Blue on this edge. And if you look at the sketch, you can kind of get a feel for how much space to include in between your sentiments. And I'm going to work from edge to edge. So this edge to this edge, and then this to this, if that makes sense, all the way into the middle. It'll help when you're putting together a background like this. So you can see I kind of have my plan already. I took a picture earlier. So it'll help me remember where things go. But it also helps keep track of how much space to save. You can kind of see, here's our sketch. It's not very much, just little tiny gaps in between our papers here. So first this side. Now let's go ahead and glue down our left side. And again, that liquid glue saves you just a little bit, gives you that tiny bit of wiggle room so that if it's not quite straight or if you need to nudge it over just a bit, handy that way. Okay, now back to this side. As long as my eyeballing is going well, then our centerpiece should end up in the center. I'll have to go back and scroll through the comments to see what you guys all said about eyeballing. See if I'm the only one or see if I'm in good company. First of our larger pieces. Again, oh, did I mention that? These are all cut with 25. Hopefully that made sense when I talked about using sketches for 25. That this die is in set 25, as is our skinny border piece there. Okay. Left side again. Between our gaps. Going to be straight up and down. Not too worried about whether the gaps are absolutely going to end up perfectly spaced. As long as they're close and I can have white all around. Oh, that's looking pretty good. White all in between all of the pieces of paper, it should look pretty good. And keep in mind, we're about to cover up the middle anyways, so if it's not totally perfect, it shouldn't matter too much. Unless you're type A, then it matters. As a bit of a creative brain, I am not entirely type A. Somewhat organized, but not to the point where it bothers me if something's totally off. You'll actually see that in just a minute. When I first cut out our triangle rhombus, you can see here, look at the way the pattern went. I just didn't notice when I cut it. I thought I was cutting, like straight up and down when I was lining up one of these edges. I can't remember which one. But then when I put it on here, I was like, oh goodness, we're going to drive everyone who is type A a little bit crazy. And so you'll see what I did for our pre-made shaker. I went and recut it, and the pattern on the paper is going to go straight up and down and not drive you crazy. So some things will still get to me. Not everything, but some things. All right, let's get that red strip in there. And looks like there's going to be just the right amount of space left for this to go right in the middle. We did good. Earlier, I was mentioning that starting Monday, I'm going to announce some of the ways you can win some of our door prizes. And my favorite that we're doing this year is we'll call it the Queen of the Compliments. How does that sound? Where you can have a chance to pick up a $50 Queen & Company gift card, because we are going to choose one random, we're going to call it cheerleader, from the group this next week. Somebody who's going in, leaving lots of praise and comments on all of the cards and projects that are being posted to our group this week. And we'll be watching, and I know there will be lots of you, but we'll go through and pick one person randomly to take home our Queen of the Compliments gift card. Okay. We'll announce that next week. Or sorry, that'll all the details and the door prize and the way that you'll get involved will be announced on Monday. And then you'll have all the way till Saturday night to get all of your praise and comments and cheerleading done. And then we will choose one person and announce that the following Monday. Okay. So again, bear with me. I know that the lines are off on this one, but like I showed you before, I do have one pre-made that is proper, and we'll get that in a minute. So bear with me on the wonkiness of the lines. But as we talked about before, you're going to want to take off the liner, and I think I got it right this time. Nope, I still picked the wrong side. Never tell until you get going and start pulling up that liner. Something pointy is just a great way to get that liner going. There it goes. Lift up the edges on it. And don't worry, you know, you can see kind of, can you tell? I scraped up the edges here, but it doesn't matter because that's the part that's getting folded over, right? Don't worry about whether or not you indent or leave a scratch mark on them. And I can tell that this is the indent side of the pouches. So we're going to take those and start folding them over. Now with this pouch, you have to work with more than just one side open because you can't just slide the paper all the way in unless you have two sides open. But just like I showed you before, oh wait, let me not forget my dryer sheet. Let's get the dryer sheet all wiped on the inside of my pouch. And then, again, for stability, we're going to go ahead and glue an additional backer. Now, of course, you do not need to do this step. If you're using pattern paper that's thin, I would totally recommend it. But if you're not using pattern paper and you've got a nice stiff piece of cardstock, you do not need to do that step. Matter of fact, let me show you this one here. I just did some simple ink blending on this one. And so this is a nice stiff piece of cardstock, a heavyweight piece of cardstock, and I just did some ink blending. And you don't need a backer, an extra backer for that. So it depends on what your backer is. You do want something a little on the sturdy side. Your choice on whether it's pattern paper or just something sturdy like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take that and slide that into my pouch. And now you can fold over that third side. And again, you can get your glue on there and then put something heavy on it. Give it 5 minutes with your liquid glue to dry, something heavy that will hold it down. Then you can come back. You can add your shaker items here. Let me show you what I've picked out for this one. This one is this really pretty blue glitter sequence with the white glitter sequence. And again, just some of that chunky glitter. Now this is not glued down, so pardon me. We're going to, for the sake of time, skip that for now. But if it was, you'd be able to just glue that that fourth side down. And there you go. Isn't that pretty? So then I would put my, I'd leave it upside, leave it down, face down, put my extra glue on there, and then put my book on it and let it dry. And once you've done that, then you have this. See, this one's all dry and glued ahead of time. You don't have to wait for any of that. But isn't that pretty? I so love the edge to edge of everything floating around on these pouches. They're so pretty. Okay. So let's get that glued down to the center of a card. And did you notice I got the lines better? I think. Maybe it's not. Maybe I got the wrong one. No, I think so. Well, better. But also, of course, the shaker pieces are going to help hide some of those lines a little bit. But I tried to cut them parallel, but I didn't really succeed, did I? Oh well. Close enough. We'll cover it up with a bunch of other things, so hopefully it won't drive anyone crazy. Okay. Let's get our liquid glue, and we'll add that right to the very center of our page. To the center of our card. I still, even years later, I haven't done much scrapbooking in quite a while, but I still say page and layout when I mean card from time to time. Any of you also former or current scrapbookers out there? That's how I really got my start with card making, was actually in the scrapbook world. And then after I finished a layout or a page, I would often have little bits and scraps left behind. I was like, you know what, let's put those together into a card. Wouldn't that make a cute card? Use my leftovers to make a card. And that is how I ended up going into card making. Okay. Isn't that pretty? So I'm just going to kind of hold it for a second. Make sure that it stays down. All right. And then again, like I said, this is a simple one. Just going to take our sentiment that I already stamped from Christmas Clothesline. And let's go ahead and glue it onto the front here of its little backer. And then we'll glue it on top of the shaker. And you can see how this is a little bit smaller sentiment compared to our earlier ones. And that way, it's not going to cover up too much of the card. You can see size-wise how much smaller it is compared to the other two. So it's perfect for adding to those little bit smaller pouch. And you can see too that with this smaller pouch and with all that we already did to our background, I just didn't think it was necessary to add a whole bunch of other, you know, items to ground our sentiment. Doesn't need that. We're just going to glue it straight down onto the card. And we're going to let it hang off the edge just a bit. Sending Christmas cheer. And then we saved a little bit of room here on the left for our snowflakes. Let's get those glued down. I didn't pop out the centerpieces of the snowflakes, but I could. The die cut actually has those to be popped out, but I thought they kind of looked kind of pretty in, so I left them in this time. And that one right here on the left. I love that the art glitter glue really does dry pretty quick. I'm going to kind of fling this up just a little bit. Okay. And then I've got two other little snowflakes. Wasn't entirely sure where I wanted them. Something like this. Maybe one more over there. Pretty cute. Let's do that. Okay. Again, just a little bit of liquid glue. Hold down in the center of my snowflake. Oops, sorry, that didn't focus. All right. It added just up here to this corner. Then we'll do this other little one here. Then this card will be about finished. Again, if you picked up Foundation 25 and the shaker pouches, once they arrive in the mail, you can come right back to this tutorial and follow along with whatever paper pad you decide, and whatever little embellishments or sentiments that you decide would also work. And you can quick and easy put together 3 fun, flat shaker cards. Look, I remembered the card base. You'll all be very proud of me. Although I'll tell you a secret. Yesterday, I went and glued one of these cards down on my card base, and then I opened it and it was upside down. Has that ever happened to you? Okay, let's get this card base glued on. So I still have to go and cut the back of that card off and re-glue a different card base on it. I'll open proper. Which one was it? Let me see. Oh, yep, here it is. So this one here, you can see the smaller rectangle one. Isn't that pretty? But look at what I did. It opens from the top instead of the bottom. I still have to fix that one. Didn't even realize I did it until after my live last night when I went to go stand it up on my desk, and it wouldn't stand up because it opens the wrong way. So even with all these years of experience, still screw things up from time to time. Okay, let's see how it turned out. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? What a fun and, you know, just striking design with those, you know, lines going across the card in such, you know, what's the right word? You know, pointy lines, straight up and down lines, very vertical, very eye-catching. And then, of course, our shaker items in there. All right. So that is the end of the card making for today. But let me go through a couple of things, including a sneak peek. So hang in there for that. Let's see here. I want to talk about the card making contest currently running. Okay, the contest is going to have 10 winners. Let me zoom out just a touch. 10 winners. 5 of which will be chosen by the number of likes on the contest post. So be sure, whether you're entering the contest or not, to go through and check out all the entries. And then please like the ones that are catching your eye. You can like as many as you want. There is no limit because you can only hit that like button one time. It only works one time for each person that's checking it out. But please go through and take a look. We've already got some on there. Some of you are already speedy fast. Okay. Then, of course, also 5 random winners will be chosen as well. So we want to make sure that you have fun and don't enter the card contest thinking, oh, it has to be the best thing ever or I'm not going to enter. Please have fun. Make cards. Show us what you've done. We find it all inspiring and I love it all. There is no such thing as a poor card maker. You guys are all talented and amazing. Please have fun making cards this week. Show us what you make. Enter the card contest. 5 random winners, 5 voted winners. Everyone gets a $10 gift card. There are categories for our contest. This post is in the Facebook group. You can go look for it. The announcement picture looks just like this. And then you can read the details. There's ideas. You can do what we call texture twist, incorporating different textures. Say it with words. Make text a prominent feature of your card. You can go ahead and do a stash builder where you just repeat the same design over and over, making a whole bunch of the same type of card. You can use one of our sketches. There's over 200. I don't even know off the top of my head how many we have. We have a lot of sketches. You can use any of our numbered sketches to go ahead and enter. You can use a die cutting guide to make a whole set of cards. You can use color blocking. Okay? There's quite a few fun ideas there, and hopefully enough wiggle room in there that you'll find something that appeals to you. So please enter the card contest. Also, like I said, more details coming on Monday for ways you can win our door prizes, but be a cheerleader. Please leave comments on all of the amazing products or amazing projects that are posted to the Facebook group. I know I appreciate it when you guys point out that you liked something, and I know that our royalty members do as well. And let's see here. Let me just recap a couple things on the schedule real fast. I know we talked about it earlier, but just know Monday, that grand prize that I talked about is going to be posted. It's going to be our Queen of the Crop prize. And this is going to be randomly selected winner from someone who is posting their projects this coming week. It will be a $100 Queen & Company gift card that you can win by just posting any creations that you're working on this week. The Queen of the compliments will also be posted on Monday. You can get the details of how you end up selecting that one. And then Tuesday, you can come back and join me again for another live class. This time we're talking about our costume cuties and mixing them in with some of our endless kits. Also on Wednesday, there'll be a whole nother set of sketches posted that will include the sketches that I'm going to be giving you on Tuesday as part of the new die cutting guide. On Thursday, Mary Ann will be live showing you how to use the costume cuties and mixing them in with these new foundations, set 25. Friday's our surprise announcement. Saturday, all of the challenges and contests end. And then the following Monday, that'll be the 7th, we will be posting all of our winners from everything. The times listed here are Pacific time. Adjust according to your own time zone. And now last, before I go, if you didn't catch the live last night, then you didn't see this. But if you did, then this is another chance to see a sneak peek as well as something else real fast. But here is a little peek at our upcoming fall kit, which we anticipate arriving mid-October. And since you stuck with me all this time, I have one last item to show you live, and this is a sneak peek at our Christmas kit. One shape from our Christmas kit. So hopefully that catches your eye. But I want to thank you all for coming today and being a part of this class. We put up our 3 cards that we made together. Here we go. Almost lost it in the chaos here. Here we go. Our snowman, our Christmas card, and our snowflake card. So hopefully when you get your pouches, you'll have just as much fun as I did with them. So make sure you follow those tips. Get your heavy book or your heavy item. Get your dryer sheets. Get your heavy backers and have a ton of fun. And be sure and check out the free with purchase items that Wendy has going on in the store. And thanks for being here, everybody. I'm going to scroll back, and before I sign off, I'll look and see if there's any questions. But I just really appreciate all of you being here. So I'm going to scroll for a minute and see if I missed anything that I can answer. Or if you have a question, I'll stay on for just another minute, and we'll see how we did here. But again, thanks for being here, everybody, and happy World Card Making Week. D, upside down cards are opportunities to look at things differently. Oh, D, I love you so much. Norma, you've done it before. June has too. Awesome. Okay. Sarah says she does it all the time. Yeah. Linda too. Okay, good. I'm in good company, it looks like. All right. Let's see. No other questions? Let's see. Michelle, you're so nice. You love watching Ginger. For some reason, her voice and teaching style just relaxes me. That's good. I'm not relaxed. It is stressful to go live on Facebook. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it, Michelle. Thanks for coming. Janet, I started out with scrapbooking almost 30 years ago. I made mini shakers by hand back then. Oh, well, I'm glad that Queen Company is making them easier for you now, Janet. Wonderful. Diane, thank you for coming. Debbie, aw, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're my cheerleaders today, which is awesome. D, can the surprise announcement please, please, please be a Queen and Company World Tour? Oh my D, that would be fun. I don't know how in the world we'd pull that off, but it would be fun. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions at the moment, but thank you again, everybody, for being here. Enjoy your crafting. Hopefully this weekend or this coming week, you can get a bunch of things done. Please participate in the card challenges. We love seeing what you create. It is so inspiring to me. The talent in our group is just unreal. All of you have an absolutely wonderful Saturday and World Card Making Week. I'll see you on Tuesday.